Certain things spring to mind when you think about prison. Barbed wire, tiny jail cells, bars everywhere. Well, not in Norway. This is Harden prison, and it's the second largest maximum security prison in Norway, and it looks more like a resort than anything else. But at 20%, Norway's recidivism rate is the lowest in Scandinavia and one of the lowest in the world. This is how Norway changed how we think about incarceration. And Norway's 2-year recidivism rate is the lowest in the world. America's is one of the highest. One 2014 study found 60% of American prisoners released in 13 states were rearrested for a crime within 3 years, and 75% were rearrested within 5 years. While it's tough to make a direct comparison, Norway is doing something right when it comes to incarceration, and it may come down to fundamental difference in philosophy of what a prison should be. Norway banned capital punishment in 1905. 80 years later, they did away with life sentences, and in 2007, a shooter insult. A focus on restorative justice emphasizing rehabilitation and normality over punishment. What that means is when a prisoner is sentenced in Norway, the only thing they lost is their freedom, which is symbolized for these large prison walls. Norway has two of what have been called the most humane prison in the world. One of them is Harden prison, where prisoners can garden, learn to cook, and tend to animals. They can also take vocational classes and prepare themselves for the outside world after they are released. Harden holds 251 of their worst criminals, which include rapists, murderers, and pedophiles. In America, these criminals would be punished severely, kept in a small cell for most of the days, with minimal time outdoors, with all of their rights stripped. The phrase "don't do the crime if you can do the time" applies here. Retribution must be swift and sure for those who decide to make a career of prying on the innocent. America's decades-long war on criminal has resulted in 159,000 people currently receiving life prison sentences. But in Norway, almost all prisoners are released. The maximum sentence is 21 years. At the end of the term, 5-year increments can be added indefinitely if it's assessed that prisoners had not been rehabilitated. Even the worst criminal, like Anders Breivik, who murdered 77 people in one of the worst massacres in history, is currently serving a 21 years sentence. Norway also supports prisoners after they are released. They are provided housing, employment, house-taking, and addiction treatment. All of this not comes true. Howden Prison spends more than $93,000 per inmate per year, compared with just $31,000 on average for prisoners in the United States. But Norway incarcerates far fewer of their population. As of 2014, only 0.08% of Norway's population was behind bars. That's 75 per 100,000 people. In the U.S., that's 707 for every 100,000 people, or 0.7%. And if America has the same rates of incarceration like Norway, it can spend as much as Norway does per inmate and still save over $45 billion a year. That's the budget for the Department of Homeland Security. No matter how many numbers are crouched on comparing recidivism rates or thoughts on punishment versus rehabilitation. It comes down to how society views its prisoners. Nelson Mandela said no one truly knows a nation until one has been inside its jails.